Family, we've been having some technical difficulties. That's how it is with these electronical stuff, as you all know. Look, however, it ain't gonna stop us from doing what we must do. And what we must do is to let the people know what's on our mind. Let the people know what's on our mind. Okay? I don't know if maybe because of the topic, the powers that be is trying to sabotage us. But just so they know they cannot stop us. We are on the job and we are here to stay. Now, the topic of the day, what will we be speaking about today? It's a concept. We will be speaking about a concept, family. And what's that concept? It's a simple concept. It's our argument, it's our belief that having a roof over one's head, it's a God-given right. It's a substantive right. It's a human right. Providing shelter, defending yourself, or protecting yourself from the elements, be it sun, rain, snow, hurricane, tornado, whatever the element is. Protecting yourself from the element could not just merely be a privilege, but a right. Understand the concept. And that right is a birthright. That right is something that's ascribed to you as being a part of humanity, of the human race, a human being. It's not a privilege. It's not a privilege by which any individual or organization or group of people can arbitrarily regulate or control. It cannot, and it should not. And we're going to show you in a few minutes the laws that governing that whole concept of property rights or property ownership. You see, what we are facing here, family, in the territory of New Orleans, Louisiana, is greedy, corrupted, no good, so-called elected officials who are utilizing their authority, their privilege to gain additional revenue more than what's outlined in the contract, the Constitution. They're actually robbing the people of this territory, New Orleans, Louisiana, of what is rightfully theirs, their property, and they are doing it with willful and malicious intent. Willful and malicious intent. Now, as I stated before, family, owning a property or having a roof over your head is a human right, not a privilege, and it could never be a privilege. And we could stick on that argument or that philosophy, and we could beat that philosophy till thy kingdom come. However, for the purpose of this conversation, and when we recognize the people or the group of people who we are dealing with, or the group of people who are reigning tyranny, and we, the people, and the fact that these people are supposed to be elected officials working on the behalf or exercising the will of the people, and they are not, we're going to go to the contract, and we must. We're going to go to the contract, and we must. What's the contract, family? The contract is the Constitution. Now, again, we could, if these people were honorable people, law-abiding people, elected officials, or people acting in their capacity as elected officials with a fiduciary duty to we the people, we could just make the statement that, look, owning a piece of property or having a roof over your head is a human right. It's a substantive right, not a privilege, and could never be a privilege. And we could direct them to as far back into modern civilization or to Haitian civilization, and we could win or sustain just on that argument alone, right? Without even referring to any type of contract or the Constitution. However, we are not dealing with honorable people. When you're talking about people like Errol G. Williams, Errol G. Criminal Imposter Williams, when you're talking about a company or an organization like Civic Source, Acorn Information System LLC, when you're talking about a criminal bastard like Mitch J. Landry, when you're talking about so-called judges like Kathleen Sim Julian, Division N, Orleans District Court, when you're talking about, you can just name them. These are not God-fearing, righteous people. These are not people who understand that they are in public office because we the people put them there. They don't understand this. They pretend to understand this concept when they approach us for us to elevate them or put them into public office. You see, family, a lot of these people could have never make it out there in the private sector. A lot of them, before they enter into politics or before they embark up into this governmental structure, was out there in the private sector, and they couldn't put 2 pennies together to save the goddamn life. Here it is, they enter into politics, and miraculously overnight, a lot of these crooked bastards are now millionaires, or have building multi-mansion houses and multi-car garage, and have millions of dollars of asset all over the place. You wonder, how is that feasible, or how is that possible? Before you enter into this old political arena, you didn't have a dime to your name. Based on the contract that we signed, we know you're supposed to be getting X amount annually. You've just been in office now for 2, 3, 4 years, and already your asset, your financial asset, circum your salary 100-fold. How the hell did you do? What type of math you working? What type of math are you working? How is that possible? Now, again, we know we ain't dealing with honorable people, so let's take them to the contract. And the first document that we want to take them to is the Louisiana Constitution, Article 1. And let's start off with Section 2. Because when you understand what Section 2 or the premise of Section 2, you can then move forward. Section 2 deals with due process of law. Due process of law. That systematic approach to law. And this is what Section 2 says. This is what these criminals over here overlook when they're acting in their official capacity as mayor, as tax assessor, as judge, as governor, as state representative. This is what they overlook. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property. Or what? Property. Now you notice it didn't say personal or private property. It didn't classify what type of property. Why? Because we are dealing with that fundamental principle of due process. Hence, it doesn't matter what type of property it is. As long as you can claim or you are laying claim to that property, that process, that fundamental process of due process of law must be adhered to. Must. We ain't asking them or we ain't begging them for nothing. We are saying to them, listen to me, you crooked bastard. Listen to me, you so-called elected official, you goddamn politician. We need our due process. You want to take my property under color of law or because of your circular fallacy? Take my property. We don't. That is the reason. Look, family, go to the United States Constitution. Pick up a copy of the United States Constitution. Let me tell you something. Those guys who drafted this document, those guys who drafted the United States Constitution, believe me, these guys were honorable men. These guys were guys who believe in liberty, in freedom. Well, look. They had a fundamental principle. Or when you understand what happened or what was going on in the 1700s before the drafting of the United States Constitution, when you understand the first document that was presented or that was levied, which was the Declaration of Rights, and when you read the line item, or the allegation or the complaint against the authority at the time, which was King George himself, these men recognize that government had a tendency of reigning tyranny and we the people. They understand that concept. They understand that there must be a mechanism within any document or within any presentation, which was at the time they were thinking about the Constitution. There must be a mechanism that the people can rightfully defend themselves. These men had the insight or the foresight or whatever sight you want to mention. Because what? They were looking at history. They were looking at history what happened throughout history and what was going on in their time. It was to that end or that extent that they started the Revolutionary War. You know something, family? Look, let me share something with you. It amazes me. It amazes me when I walk around this territory of New Orleans, Louisiana. And let me, look, I was in a grocery store yesterday. I was in a grocery store yesterday. And I walk inside this grocery store, and I was strapped. I was armed, right? I had my 9mm strapped to me. I had 2 extra magazines strapped to me. That's how I travel. I protect self. I believe in self-preservation. I don't care about you. You have people out there talking about gun rights and people. Look, I don't give a rat's ass about nobody. I'm not going to wait for NOPD or no so-called law enforcement to come protect me. It is my duty and responsibility to protect self. Let me continue with the story. So I went inside. I was shopping. They had one of the policy enforcers, City of New Orleans, policy enforcers, member of the NOPD, working for them. They had a member all docked out in his uniform and, you know. And I went inside the establishment, and around 2 to 3 minutes after I was inside here, he approached me. He was like, "Hey, what's happening, man?" So, I said, "How you doing, bro?" He was, "You're a cop?" I said, "I'm a what?" He said, "You with NOPD?" I said, "No, bro." I said, "No." And he was like, "Well, you know, you're kind of scaring a couple of the customers, and they wanted was to, you know, I'm just asking if you can just cover up." No. The first thing was like me. He asked me, "You was the NOPD?" I said, "No." He said, "Do you have a concealed weapon or do you have a permit to carry that?" I said, "I don't need a permit to carry a firearm, man." He was like, "Okay, but look, you can just cover it up for me because you're scaring a couple of the customers." I said, "Really?" But look, I was there shopping. I'm doing my thing. I wanted to get in and get out. So I said, "Okay, man." And I cover my pistol up. 3 minutes later, he came back. He was like, "Look, I'm not trying to harass you or anything, but apparently the manager is saying that they have a rule. They don't allow firearm inside the building." Now, I respect that. I respect that because understand the concept. Anyone can come to you and say, "Man, look," even when I approach or I go by some of my associates' house, I ask them, I say, "Look, do you mind me coming inside your property with my pistol?" They have a right. They have a God-given right to say, "Look, no, man, I don't want to come inside your house armed, inside my house armed." They have a God-given right to say that. And you or I must respect, and I do honor that. Businesses likewise have that privilege to say, "Look, we don't want you," but understand the concept with the business. A business must post that no firearm allowed on this premises. They must post it. So I said to the policy enforcer, I said, "Look, where's that sign?" He was like, "Well, I know it is posted somewhere." He himself didn't know where that sign was posted. So I said, "Okay." And I walked with him. And he was looking, I was looking. Then finally, I ended up seeing the sign. They type up a sign and they put it. And I said, "No, sir." I said, "Oh, there is a sign." It wasn't in the door or anything where nobody can readily see it. So, look, again, I was doing my thing. I was shopping. I put my pistol inside my automobile, and I come back, I shop and get my ass out. But this is what I'm trying to say. It's amazing when I travel around the territory and people look at me like, why is he strapping? Or why is he, carrying a gun? And this is what I ask them when they ask me that. I said, what? I said, where's yours? I said, where's your firearm? Where's your gun? Where's your means of protection? Ooh. Huh? Look, leave me the hell alone. I operate with the ability or the understanding or with the rights that my God give to me. Don't blame me because I'm exercising my God-given right and because you are not knowledgeable or capable or willing to do the same. Don't blame me. You scared ass. Huh? Don't blame me. I do what I choose to do as long as I don't cause harm to no other man or no woman. These people, the founding fathers, they knew that the people must have, or any document that they was about to create, must have an element inside of it, or provision for the people to present themselves against cronyism, against corrupt government, or just protect themselves, period. Hence, the Second Amendment. Listen to this, family. And look, before I even read the Second Amendment, don't allow anybody, not even me, to direct the way you think or you process certain information. Utilize what your God give you. A lot of critics out there, a lot of people out there will tell you, let me read this, then we'll dissect it. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. A well-regulated militia being necessary to secure of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Full stop. Full stop. After the word infringe, full stop. Now, some legal scholars out there would want you to believe that the Second Amendment is or was instituted for the collective. For the collective, meaning the militia. Hence, your individual right is null and void of law. That's crap. That is uttermost ridiculousness. This statement is true and factual. It's true and factual. And this is what it look. After the First Amendment, freedom of speech. After the First Amendment, freedom of speech. My brother, that's my private phone number there. You was calling a while ago. DJ, if you want to participate in the show or you want to speak on this topic, it's the number is 504-303-8922. All right. If you want to speak on this issue, the number is 504-303-8922. Okay. Yeah. This Second Amendment, it is a factual statement to the point where the founding fathers, the drafters of this document, recognize that tyranny that government have a tendency of reigning tyranny on the people. Hence, the proven truth.
Okay, I got the right one this time. What's up, man?
What's up, my brother? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, my brother?
I'm good. Can I say a couple of words on the topic that you're speaking on right now, please?
Oh, sure. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
For a lot of y'all that are tuning in, I'm sorry, I'm turning down the volume on my TV at this point. For a lot of y'all that are listening in, first of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever
you view it.
you get a chance to actually watch this video. My name is Edward, but I go by DJ Gemini. Exactly what Anthony's talking about is the same thing I go through every day. With me open carrying, we have the same laws as Texas when it comes to open carry, but it's so many people that are not understanding they do have that right. Now, just because you're carrying your weapon, always make it go through the proper training to make sure you know how to handle your weapon. With that, from that point on, all the mug looks and everything that you're going to get it from all the people who claim to know their rights. You're going to get it specifically from those individuals that claim to know it, but they really do not know the rights that are given to them. So, with that being said, get a holster. Don't just put it in your belt. Carry it properly. Anthony do, I do, 6 of my friends do. We all open carry, but we don't do it to intimidate no one. We do it because it's our right that is given to us by the Constitution. Now, if a situation comes up, just like what Anthony did at the store, because it happens to me a lot. I go somewhere, I forget I have it on. Even though the way I'm trained because of my ex-MP, ex-law enforcement, I stand a certain way, so I'm always in protection of it, even when it's not on me. But everything he's saying is true. This happens to us on a day-to-day basis. But certain individuals, they made it uncool for us to vote. They made it uncool for us to go to jury duty. But we sit there and complain. Use the rights that are given to you, because if you're not helping solve the issue, I'm speaking for myself. You're a part of the issue. Because the old guard brainwashed certain individuals, it's time for the old guard to go. Because if you look at it, we're a city that makes billions every year, as far as travel destination and everything else. We make billions. Every time you look up, there's a festival here.
Hey, okay. DJ.
Huh?
Let me cut in a second, my brother, because there's something that I want to make crystal clear.
Okay.
To the viewers. And I hear people utilize the term loosely a lot, which I don't necessarily agree with. The term, look, when you look on the document, the Constitution, what the Constitution is a document, or is actually a contract drafted by we the people for them over there, politicians, right?
Right.
And within this contract outlines to them their roles and authority, or their delegated authority that we the people give to them. When it comes to the United States Constitution, within this document, we have amendments. And what those amendments does is, again, outline to them, not us now, because I try to let people understand that the Constitution, when you talk about your constitutional rights, there's no such thing. We, the people, have no constitutional rights. The Constitution was drafted, was made for them, elected official. What we have, right, or what is outlined in the Constitution as it relates to the amendment in the United States Constitution is amendments which inform them that, look, these are just a few of the enumerated rights that we, the people, reserve for ourselves. These, when we talk about constitutional right, it's actually constitutional guaranteed. We, the people, retain our rights from birth, or continue to retain our rights. The rights that when we talk about the Second Amendment, what we're talking about, we are saying to any given politician out there, or so-called law enforcement out there, or to our fellow citizens, look, we possess a birthright. We possess a God-given human substantive right to do A, B, and C. However,
that's true.
As it relates to you, Mr. Politician, Mr. so-called policy enforcer, we are saying to you, look, go check your contract. Go check the Constitution. When you see me going about my daily business, strapped with my 9 or my Browning pistol or my 45 or whatever I choose to strap myself with in that particular day, you need to leave me the hell alone. And
I agree.
If you need, and then at that point, I said, man, look, go check your contract, look on the Second Amendment as it relates to the United States Constitution, or I tell them to go to the Louisiana Constitution, look in Article 1 at any one of those enumerated rights that we outline in these documents. You see what I'm saying? Right. So this document, the Constitution, my brother, what I'm saying in a nutshell is, it was created not for we the people. We the people are the ones with the power and continue to have that power. The Constitution was from start to finish. The Constitution was made or created for government. It tells you. I agree with that. It tells you the branches of government. It tells you who can be president, who can be senators, who can be, how much they get paid. They tell you see what I'm saying? It was created for them. Right. But within these documents, my brother, we keep that either the amendment or the article of declaration. We keep that Declaration of Rights. We actually put those first document or those first article in those documents to remind them that, look, while you are doing your business or while you are operating in your official capacity as Mr. Mayor, Mr. whatever you want to be, these are some, not all, because, look, we the people, and I tell people every day, personally, I don't know what all my rights are. It depends on the type of mood that I'm in from a day-to-day basis. You see what I'm saying? So you need to honor and respect the fact, or you need to leave me the hell alone when you see me out there traveling and doing what I'm doing, as long as I'm not causing any harm financially or physically to neither you nor nobody else. You see what I'm saying? So the term constitutional right, when people use, I know people use that term loosely, but that term is not actually factual. There is no such thing as an individual claiming a constitutional right. The Constitution was not created for we the people. It was created for them. But we refer to the Constitution. It's a guaranteed right. So you have a constitutional guaranteed. The constitutional guaranteed, right? And even when it doesn't guarantee it in the Constitution, if you claim it to be a right, it's a right. You see what I'm talking about? Article.
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, my brother.
Well, what I would the reason why I quoted that way is because I want them to at least know where they can find the actual documentation.
Right.
But I do wholeheartedly, humbly agree with you see what I'm saying?
Right.
But some people have to know exactly where to find it, and that's the best way I can tell them to find it.
Right.
So on that note, I'm not disagreeing with nothing that you just laid out, because everything you just laid out is 100% correct. I'm just literally stating that this is how I know that they can find it, so they can be more educated on it, because we did stop teaching it in school for some reason. Why? I don't know. But we did stop teaching it in school.
Man, let me,
Now,
hey, DJ,
we used to teach the first 15. We used to teach the first 15.
Yeah.
And then after that, you would have to figure out for yourself. But we did used to teach the first 15.
Right.
Then we stopped doing it when they seen people being conscious and woke.
Right.
When they seen that, that's when they stopped teaching the first 15.
Right.
But in which brings me kind of back to the point that we was on of, this is why I always ask people, know what you're getting involved in. Know what you're actually being around at this point, because me and you know what all can happen when we're questioned by law enforcement or something of that magnitude. But knowing how to have a healthy dialogue with that individual, regardless on if it's a fed, a state, or somebody with local government, because when they be trying to do things in their official capacity, most of the time they're more ignorant than the person that actually they're talking to. They literally don't know and understand. You don't need this to do that. It's already given.
Hey, DJ, hold on a second. We have a comment here. We have a comment here on Facebook by from Jonathan Morgan, and this is what Mr. Morgan is saying. He's saying having a gun. Now, the truth about it, family, for those of you who just tuning in, this is not allude to the Constitution for a second, and we basically stray onto this gun topic or gun issue. We're gonna come back to the original topic for the day in a second, but here is Mr. Morgan saying, DJ, he's saying having a gun is not a right. Not everyone needs to own a weapon. Now, Mr. Morgan, I'll say this to you. I would endorse you, or I would say you are right to an extent. You know what I mean? Your statement is, I would say, partially right. I would say your statement is
a broad
partial.
statement.
Yeah,
it's a broad statement.
Because when you say having a gun is not a right, having a gun is not a right. It just like you could say to me that having a house is not a right, or having a car is not a right. Then you go on to say not everyone needs to own a gun. Now, I would have, well, look, you have a God-given right to make a statement. Let me say that outright first. You know what I mean? And that's your belief, that's your statement. You know, but I would approach it from the aspect that not everyone needs to have a weapon, and that is true, and that is factual. You know what I mean? I wouldn't debate you on that. I wouldn't debate you because, you know, having a weapon or carrying a weapon, you need to. Let me tell you something, man. I did 7 years in the military myself.
And
right?
I did 12.
I was trained how to carry and to use a weapon. I use all different. As a matter of fact, I was using weapons since I was 12, 13 year old. Now I'm in my 40, right? I know members or people who call themselves law enforcement right now, mostly police officers, guys who I used to work with, who really, they still need to be in training school, to be honest with you, operating a weapon, right? There is many different stage of readiness when operating a weapon, okay? I can have a weapon, a weapon won't discharge. When you talk, look, when you're in the military, there's a thing as negligent discharge, and you get charged for that. As a military personnel, your superior will charge you if you should discharge your weapon without intent. Oh, it was an accident. Accident, my ass. How did did that happen? You see what I'm saying? Now, this is what I'm saying, Mr. Morgan. I believe that everyone have a natural God-given right to exercise or to own, acquire, or perform anything that they feel that they need to. So if you think you want to drive a truck, you have a natural given right to drive a truck. Now, this is where the gray area comes in, as you rightfully said. It's not everyone can drive a truck. It's not everyone supposed to have a weapon because of certain, certain condition. Maybe the person who, maybe someone have PhD, maybe someone have, many different reasons. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But when your first statement is having a gun is not a right. You see, one of the things that we allow ourselves are we allowed to creep into this whole governmental structure is that we the people give up a lot of our authority, you see, and we then ask them over their government to regulate stuff that they don't have no business regulating. You see I'm talking about? You're gonna say
Well, what he's doing, he's giving an old guard statement, Anthony.
Yeah.
That's an old guard statement. And technically that is part of the problem, because if he was educated on it, or if he listened to what I was actually stating, I actually stated get trained, because a lot of the situation that he's talking about, I'm about to make you laugh. And Mr. Morgan, please don't take this as offense. There's some police officers that don't even know how to break down their firearms.
That's what I'm saying. Look, I know that's a fact, and that's what I'm saying. There's people out there that call themselves police officers. Man, I work with them all over the country, all over the world, bro. I work with these people who when it comes on to weapon readiness, they are not weapon ready. And they carry a badge. You see what I'm saying? I work with these people. I'm not asking anybody. I'm not trying to belittle anybody. But facts is facts. Look, I used to do patrol, right? I used to do urban patrol. We call it urban patrol. And on the back of my Humvee was a member of a police officer then, right? And I remember one night I was driving my Humvee, bro, and I hear baba baba, and I was like, what? This guy, had him. His weapon was loaded. His trigger finger was on the trigger, and we make a dip, and he just discharged his weapon. I'm like, how the hell can you discharge your weapon? A matter of fact, warm to your safety guard, okay? That's one mechanism right there. Why your trigger finger ain't running alongside the trigger barrel, the trigger guard? You see what I'm saying? There is many different mechanisms, and that's what I tell people. When I tell people, look, when you are in the military or the armed forces, if you have what they call a negligent discharge, your ass can come up and charge. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It never happened to me yet.
All day.
Right? It never happened to me. But it's about the knowledge. Look, you got people out there who, I'm telling man, people look at me sometime and I'm like, but I don't pay them the mind. You know what I mean? Because they think to themselves, that the only set of people out there supposed to be carrying firearms is those people who call themselves law enforcement, right? Police officers. They think that they're the only set of people who are qualified or who can carry firearm. Or when they look at me and they don't see a badge, they want to know, where's my badge? I was in the look, hey DJ, I was in the elevator one time, going up the elevator, right? This lady was asking me, where your badge? I said, excuse me. I said, excuse me, where your badge? I said, badge for what, miss? Oh, him though of the badge in his current, but look, I understand though. I don't get upset because I understand that for the most part. Look, let me tell you what they don't understand. They don't know the contract. They don't know the Louisiana Constitution, Article 1, Section 11. Let's read it for them, DJ. The right to keep and bear arms. The right of each citizen to keep and bear arms is fundamental and shall not be infringed. Period. Now, what more do you want than that? Let me read it again. Man, this is so beautiful. I love it. The right of each, unlike the United States Constitution, where you can misinterpret it, or they can try to make you believe that they're talking about the militia or about the collectively, which it wasn't even. Yes, to an extent, it was about the militia, because each individual territory, right? What we have right now in the United States wasn't what the founding fathers perceived. We are now having a standing army. They didn't agree with standing army. That's what people don't understand. We at some point were supposed to have, each territory was supposed to have a militia, a group of men ready once called to bear arm and defend the territory. That's what we're supposed to have. Not this blown out thing what we call right now armed force of the military. So, and eating up all of the profit in the territory. You see what I'm saying? But look on the Louisiana Constitution. Look on Section 11. This is what it says. The right. So Mr. Morgan, sir. Look, look. That is the reason why I said to you, your statement, it's broad. Yeah, and you know what I mean? I see, look, I'm not putting words inside your mouth. I believe where you're coming from, and that's why I say, I wouldn't start off this statement like that. You know what I mean? Because everybody have a right, have a God-given right, have a human right to exercise or to do what they choose to do. However, there are certain circumstances, or there are certain times, or it may present itself certain times that because of certain things, a particular or a specific individual maybe won't be allowed to do certain things or have exercise certain right. But here it is, Mr. Morgan. It says the right. The first word is right. So you are saying that having a gun is not a right. Listen to what the Constitution says. The right to keep and bear arms. The right of each. The right of what, Mr. Morgan? Each. My brother, look. Look. I'm coming from a place of love. We're having a dialogue here. So what I'm saying to you, the right of each citizens to keep and bear arms is a fundamental one. Mr. Morgan, fundamental, a simple one, a basic one, right? And it shall not be infringed, period. After the word infringe, Mr. Morgan, it is a period. Nothing else, no comma, no apostrophe, period. End of story. You can't infringe on my rights. You can't. No, because it's a God-given right. I have a right to do that. No, if I conduct myself in such a way that I offend some other people, right? Yeah, I may lose that right based on society justice system. Society can say,
well, it says threatening. You have to be doing it in a threatening manner by the law. If you're not doing it in a threatening manner, and someone just feels a certain way because they see it, that's just them feeling a certain way, and nothing will change.
Much love, Mr. Morgan. Much love. No, let me tell you. Look. No. Morgan is showing us some love now. Morgan is showing us some love. But look, let's read this in all fairness. Let's read the second part of that of section 11. DJ. It says, any restriction on this right shall be subject to strict scrutiny. Any restriction on this right. Right? So that's what I'm saying. There can comes a time, or if you're going to impose any restriction on an individual to exercise their rights, there must be strict scrutiny. And that's what it says in the Constitution. You see what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So it's a right. Mm-hmm. And look, listen to me carefully. When I make certain statements, or when I address certain groups or individuals, more so these so-called politicsters, these no good elected officials, I come to them from a point of view that, one, whatever the issue I'm talking about, I'm coming from it from a God-given point of view, a God-given right, a substantive right. Because I don't start out the argument by referring to the Constitution. I'm saying to you that, look, I have a God-given right to provide for myself and my family. I have a God-given right to put a roof over my head and over my family. And if you cannot understand my God-given right, maybe because you're an atheist, or maybe because you think you don't like me, or maybe for whatever reason, okay, I understand that. But you must understand the contract that you signed. And at that point, I refer them to the Constitution. You see what I'm saying? And normally, I start out with Article 1 and Section 2, because the underlying principle, DJ, is it doesn't matter what you think. You must give me the due process of law, or you must extend to me due process of law. That was one of the enumerated rights under the Declaration of Rights in Article 1 of the Louisiana Constitution. You see what I'm talking about? So if you're going to say to me, okay, Mr. Brown, look, you don't deserve, or having a roof over your head is a privilege. Okay, all right, okay. Now, let's take that through the process. Let's go through the process. You follow me, DJ? Let's go through the process, that legal process. Let's get a jury of 12, right? Let's file some paperwork. Let's have other people debate this issue. Give me my due process of law, right? And then and only then can you say, well, there it is. You see? You cannot just arbitrarily come up and think and tell me, okay, no, this is a privilege, or this is not a right, or I can just take away this, or I can just tax you, or I can... What? No, how the hell did you get that authority? Go back and refer to the contract. What's the contract, DJ? The Constitution, my brother.
Constitution.
You see what I'm saying? They don't, and that's why I tell them, look, this document, the Constitution of the United States, or of any one of the 50 territories, it wasn't meant for we the people. This document, the Constitution, look, we the people remain free and independent. We retain our independentness and we retain our freeness. When we draft this look, it's simple. It's just like you going to somebody, or you're a boss, right? You go and work for a company, whatever the company is, right? They're going to give you a signed contract, right? And in the contract, they're going to outline what you need to do, right? That contract is not for them, it's for you. The only reason, the only time they refer to that contract is to remind you of what your duties are. You see what I'm saying?
I dig it.
Yeah, that's how this document, or that's what this document is for, the Constitution. No, look, when we have a criminal imposter like Errol, and this DJ, listen, this is the problem we are having here, my brother. These so-called elected officials, they totally disregard this document, the contract. Now, we have a guy here by the name of Errol G. Williams, this criminal imposter. He sits on the 4th floor at 300 Parger Street, right? Occupying the office of the Orleans Parish Tax Assessor. He's an imposter in office.
Oh yeah, Williams, yeah.
Williams. Man, hey DJ, I don't know if I ever show you the document or you ever see the document. Hold on. This guy Williams, this guy have a peer that's much, much bigger than mine. He not only verbally told us, he put it in black and white, that he don't give one red ass about the Constitution, DJ.
No, we don't, because let me interject for a short sec. I went to him, asked him in his official capacity. I asked for a meeting to do an audit of the books. Now, the secretary and it's another gentleman up there who's a manager has a very nasty disposition, which I'm about to do a story on.
All of them up there. All of them, my brother. YouTube. All of them up there, my brother.
They don't realize, because now this statement is going to hurt a lot of people when I say it, but it is the truth. They the main reason why they don't recognize that they work for us is because I wasn't a homeowner at the time, but now I am.
Right.
The people before me been letting them circulate the way they want to circulate, or operate the way that they want to operate. Nobody went up there and actually held them to task like I'm doing, and me and you will talk about this a little bit more, Anthony, offline, but right. That's why. And he really doesn't even care about the city. Hell, half of the people that work in his office don't even stay in Orleans Parish. But they shouldn't have the job at City Hall, but that's for another matter. Go ahead, Anthony, you got the floor. I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, hold on. Let me show you something. Here's a document, right? I have a document in my hand, DJ, dated February the 23rd, 2016, right? And it's addressed, It's addressed to me. It's the letterhead is Orleans Parish Assessor's Office, Errol G. Williams, Assessor, right?
Right.
At the bottom, you know what I mean, his name is written, and he actually have his John Hancock there, right? And right. In the second to last paragraph, this is what this clown, this is what this criminal imposter, this is what this joker, this is what this politician is telling we, the people of New Orleans. I have no further desire to enter into intellectual debate over the differences in the definition of words, our Constitution, or property rights law. Can you believe that crap, DJ? No.
The assessor said that?
This is the person.
Oh, I need a copy of that.
I give you a copy of it, man. This is public records, man. This guy right here, right? This is a person who came to us, telling us that, look, I want to be the tax. What does the tax assessor do? Right? He are supposed to evaluate certain properties that is subjected to avalarium tax and put those properties on the tax roll. Right?
Right.
That means when it comes on to property rights law, he's supposed to be well astute, right? He's supposed to be well familiar. He's supposed to be eager to learn. He's supposed to be well informed of property rights law, right?
And he's supposed to be willing to have a healthy dialogue with anybody who's coming there and asks for something.
DJ, I'm going to show this guy This so-called elected official, this politician, this person who's supposed to be representing we the people, look, in submitting this letter for the public record, he violated or he breached the contract. He breaches the contract because here it is. He's going to tell us that he cares less about the Constitution. Now, how can we have someone in public office that don't respect or honor the Constitution? Now, look, he's not the only one, to be honest with you, DJ. He's not the only one.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have the chief.
Several of them in there.
We have, when you talk about Bernadette J. Johnson, who is the Louisiana Chief Justice, she herself don't honor or believe in the Constitution. When we outlined to her that the Constitution was being violated, and we wrote our writ and submitted to her, she turned it away. She totally disregarded. So we know that. Hey DJ, let me see. Jonathan, this.
Let me touch that.
Yeah.
Let me touch that. If you don't mind.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Mr. Morgan.
Yeah.
You asking me a question. And the reason why you're asking that question, first of all, let me address that. The first statement that you said, sir, was very broad, and you really needed to have a thought before you ask the question that you asked in the beginning. The second question that you're asking is, the second question that you're asking, since you asked one before, give me one. Have you really served ever in the military? I didn't say if somebody in your family served. I'm asking you if you served. Now, the reason why I'm asking you that question is because you're asking this question, and if you ever served in the military before, you only care about the man to a woman to our left or our right during that battle engagement. I don't need to hear nothing about no flag. I don't need to hear nothing of your corporate policies or things of that magnitude.
DJ,
keep it to what the law is.
DJ,
the
1
law
second.
Said
DJ,
we can have a firearm. If you're upset about that, sir, you need to go somewhere where you cannot have a firearm.
DJ,
I'll leave it as that.
DJ, let me just read Morgan's response or question. The question is,
okay.
He's saying, DJ, what's your opinion on a mentally person carrying a weapon? That looks normal, but he or she, what happened? Okay, he or she is not okay in the head. Look at another country like France or Germany. They have to go to a doctor to see if they fit to carry a weapon on them and have a permit. We need to have more background checks in the state. Not everyone is fit to carry a weapon. To carry, that was my point.
Okay, look at what happened in Franklinton Parish, which is Franklinton, the city, which is in St. Charles Parish. That was 2 officers. Look at what has happened in Orleans Parish, and by the Orleans Parish Sheriff. And in fact, by this weekend, I'm going to publish a story for about a Orleans Parish Sheriff who was trying to protect a ex-NOPD officer who was fired for domestic violence and for trying to protect the prostitution ring in 2009. The one thing I can say about Orleans Parish, and this is different than Jefferson Parish, because Jefferson Parish, has an issue damn near once a month, but it never make the news. Mr. Morgan, are you saying we need to have more doctors also for Jefferson Parish? Because their deputies go off on anybody more than NOPD, even Kenner, or even Gretna do. And Gretna has some terrible officers. So when you boast that broad of a statement or question, just look at exactly what you're asking, because the dialogue that you're trying to have, I don't play Twitter fingers. I do not. And that's why I kind of didn't want Mr. Andy to read it, because that was mainly Twitter fingers.
Well, look, I think, look, we have to play devil advocate here. I'm playing devil advocate here, and look, I'm trying to see or to understand where Morgan is coming from, and again, it's not that he's just way off the reservation. Because he is right to an extent. You don't want to have person with mental disabilities out there carrying a weapon. If somebody have a history of let's say violent nature or temper.
So what she just did, she had a history, but they just let her on the They still had let her on the police force.
Right.
And then in turn, they knew she shouldn't have been on patrol, and they still had her on patrol.
Right.
And then look at what she did to a guy that I'm under the impression she really wanted to be with him, and he did not want to be with her. And I'm doing my own investigation on that. So I mean that's what I mean about a broad question. I don't mind playing devil's advocate at all. He's asking so broad of a question.
Yeah.
When you come back with an answer to his question, then it's almost okay, Mr. Andy. You said you did 6 years. What's the main thing we teach in the service? Any branch, don't come with excuses. It seemed like he's going to keep coming up with excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse to try to make a point.
Right.
But if we're going to do it, I understand his disposition, because I'm from the years where we throw from them shoulders. But you also have to be aware of your surroundings. That's why, once again, I said be properly trained. He already jumped over that statement, Mr. Anthony. He did. He didn't even hear that part when I said get properly trained.
Right.
And that was the second. That was a part of the second phrase out my mouth for the first sentence.
You see.
So he heard
DJ,
what he wanted to hear.
DJ, you see this argument, and it's on a national level as well. It's on a national level for those persons that's anti Second Amendment and anti gun about needing more background checks. When you look on the actual stats, or when you look on certain incidents that occur in this country, right? More background checks couldn't prevent those incidents from happening. You got people who, let me tell you, on a day-to-day basis, someone could go through a severe background check, and something happened that they just lose it. They just actually lose it, and they act outside of the norms, and they end up taking lives, right?
Right.
Severe background check. What contribution, or what will severe background check do in relationship to somebody who just random? Look, people can pass background checks. He mentioned about France. He mentioned about France and Germany. So I think he's also talking about psychology, some type of psychiatric test as well. You know what I mean? Do we
I dig that.
do we want to go through, all that degree of testing, or to allow or to deny somebody from carrying a weapon? I don't know.
I
You know,
mean,
I don't know. Look, DJ. The bottom line is look. This is the bottom line, man. This is my argument, and it will remain my argument. And Morgan, to a degree, have a point as well. You understand? We don't want anybody mentally disturbed to be walking around with a firearm. We don't want that. We don't want somebody who we know have a tendency of violence to walk around. Look. We have those already. We call them police officers. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We are talking
but
about
trying to make it seem like we're saying that.
We are talking.
That's the part I don't like.
We are talking about the rights of the individual, the rights of the people. You know what I mean? To exercise their God-given right. That's what we're talking about. Now, let me tell you something, man. DG and Mr. Morgan, you guys throw my old show off today. Because
I apologize.
Look, we end up. No. It's good. We end up speaking about weapon. It was supposed to be about weapon, right? However, there's an underlying theme or underlying concept here, which is that substantive right that each of us individually possess. Now, and this is one key element that we all forget. When we talk about rights, again, let's go back to the contract. Let's go back to the contract. Let's go back to Article 1 of the Louisiana Constitution.
Right.
And let me read this part for you real quick. And is instituted to protect the rights of the individual. Government was instituted to protect the rights of the individual. In all our documents, that's what you will see. Look, I would encourage, or I would ask anyone to show me where government was instituted to protect the collective process, or the collective thinking, or the collective morandi. Show me that. Look, my rights and your rights, DJ, two different. A matter of fact, as I stated before, and I continue to state again, today I may have the desire or the urge to walk with my 9. Tomorrow, I may want to walk with my 45. The next day, I may want to walk with my AK. It just depends on today, I may want to drive my Mercedes Benz. Tomorrow, I may want to drive my pickup truck. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I dig that.
And a day to day, my brother, I don't know what state or frame of mind I'll be in. So, all of our rights couldn't be enumerated in this document. And a matter of fact, this document states that as well. So even though it is not enumerated, the rights of the people is preserved or shall be preserved. You see?
Right.
This document was meant for them, not for us. This is a reference point. We use this document as a reference point for them. We say, look,
right.
You think you have authority over what I'm doing? Go check the contract. Look at Article 1, Section 2, 4, 3, 5. You see what I'm saying? Depends on what the issue is. That's what it's all about. We as individuals have rights that government cannot regulate or control. We outline to them. Look, one of my biggest arguments with Errol G. Williams, DJ, is that he's claiming to be the Orleans Parish tax assessor, right?
Right.
And we give him certain authority to operate.
I agree.
Now, there is certain properties that he has control over. Now, if he was actually the goddamn Orleans Parish tax assessor, he's an imposter in office right now. But if he was legitimate and was the actual Orleans Parish tax assessor and was working according to the Constitution, there would be certain property and certain property only that he would have any jurisdiction over. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, here it is, because of sheer corruption, because of cronyism, because of greed, because he want to ensure that his pension fund is pad. So when he and his crony friends, them, to include these so-called judges, go on the retirement, they got a big fat purse or bank account to be drawing from on a month-to-month basis. You see? Just like this other...
Well, that's the reason why they don't pay the lawsuits at City Hall. They just file them at the bottom in the bottom office and have somebody stamp them.
All of them.
Go ahead.
Yeah, even Susan Waterboard is in them. But this is what I'm saying. So, what they are doing or what he's doing, and I tell people, the problem start, the first person I have an issue with is that criminal imposter, Errol G. No Good Williams. Because he's the one who illegally and with willful and malicious intent put my piece of property and your piece of property to which he has no control over, legally, nor no constitutional authority to put on his avalarium tax roll, and he does that. He is putting property. Errol G. Williams, the person who is occupying or claiming to be the Orleans Parish tax assessor, 1300 Parger Street on the 4th floor, sucking up our AC every goddamn day, collecting our money every month, to the point where he's bragging about his big mansion he's building out there in the east and his multi-car garage is criminal. He's putting property. He's creating homelessness. He's putting property on the avalarium tax room, DJ, that he has no authority. And this is it. Let me tell you something. Hey, DJ, I've been trying to speak, have a meeting with this guy. Look, this letter right here dated 2016. I've been corresponding with that criminal imposter, Errol G. Williams, since I think 2014, right? And every time I went to the office, they tried, a matter of fact, I could never, or he would never meet with me personally. A matter of fact, it get to the point where his workers, his assistants, right, meet me at the door and don't even want me to come inside the building. I'm like, what? It wasn't until...
They can't deny you entry from the building if you have official business, though, but keep going.
Man, look, it wasn't until... Let me tell you something. It wasn't until, I think, a month ago, right? I was informed by an associate of mine that he was having this function down there on Castle Hill Boulevard, and I went. First time I'm seeing this guy face to face in years, right? Or for the first time, you know, speaking about this issue. And I went inside there, DJ, and I sit my black ass down and I was listening to him. I couldn't, man, within 2 minutes, the seat that I was sitting in, it was like fire. Because I'm trying to sit down to listen to this clown, and here it is, was in a room with around maybe 15 to 20 people, if it was so much. And he was telling these people that, look, come 2020, there's going to be a constitutional amendment on the ballot come 2020. And if this amendment passed, a matter of fact, he didn't use the word if. He speak about it in the positive. He said 2020, there's going to be a constitutional amendment on the ballot. And when the amendment passed, it would allow him to increase your property tax by 50%. Man, look, at that point, look, the fire got too hot for my black ass. I also get up. And I said, oh dear you criminal. Look, and this is what I tell people. Look, if I call somebody a criminal here on this show, DJ, I'll call them a criminal to their face. It's not within me to be scared of nobody. And I'm not going to call somebody out to the name if they don't deserve it. He's a goddamn criminal, so I call him a criminal to his face. I'm saying, dear you, oh dear you, talk to these people or inform these people about 2020, 2 years from now, when in 2014, when we the people, when there was a amendment number 3 that was on the ballot in November 2014, that if it had passed, it would give Civic Source, Errol G. Williams, and Mitch Langer the authority to do what they are still doing here today. And we, the people, voted against it. In 2014, there was a constitutional amendment on the ballot. As a matter of fact, there was 2 amendments on the ballot in 2014. Amendment number 3 and amendment number 10. Amendment number 10 was to renew an existing tax that was going to be outdated. And amendment number 3 would authorize Errol G. Williams to entertain or to enter into a contract, or the municipal corporation, the city of New Orleans, at the time under Mitch Langer, to enter into a contract with Civic Source, so that Civic Source could do what they are presently doing right now. And the people of Louisiana voted against it, right? And here it is. They did not honor the will of the people in 2014 when it applies.
Let's run back the minutes. We can actually run back the minutes from the meeting, the actual audio from the meeting.
Yeah.
And then me and you need to talk offline about this. And I think it's something that we can do. But we really do need to talk offline.
No, look, man, look right, DJ. This right here, my brother, is public information. You see this right here? Louisiana tax collector involvement in state in tax sale amendment number 2, 2014. They add on the ballot, right?
Well, he's getting a kickback, and
They're criminals, man.
I can tell from what you're saying, he's getting a kickback.
Look, man. Let me tell you something, man. What happened briefly? We only have 4 minutes left on the show. You got this company here, CivicSource.com. Civic Source is illegally auctioning people property on the platform, right? Civic Source is a LLC, a for-profit corporation. Right. You know, they originated.
Yeah, one of the owners stay out there near Homer. But keep going.
Yeah, the CEO.
And the other owner is the Kirschman, one of Kirschman's kids.
Right. The CEO is a guy by the name of Byron P. Burroughs. He's the CEO, the chief executive officer for that. The parent company is Acorn Information System LLC, right? So what they did,
it's a programming company that they changed under the LLC and kept it under the same umbrella, so they can keep their programmers on payroll. Keep going.
Right. So what they are doing? They enter into a contract with that criminal no good pastor, Mitch Langer, right? To act. No, again, Civic Source is a LLC, a limited liability company. Nothing about Civic Source is governmental related. Here it is. Civic Source is performing under Article 7 of the Louisiana Constitution. How the hell did they get that authority? How the hell did Mitch Criminal Langer end up signing a contract with civic source to be selling people property here in the territory of New Orleans, Louisiana. How they did that? How did Harold G. Williams authorize and meet with civic source to give them the authority to do that? You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What they did.
We need to talk offline.
They did, my brother, what they did, based on a lawsuit that was filed in 2008 and 2014, the CEO, Byron Burroughs, went all over the territory in 2014 and bribed some people. Mitch Langer, he bribed Mitch Langer. Mitch Langer got $10,000 that we can verify, right? He bribed the municipal association. He bribed the sheriff. A lot of people got bribed, so that this.
Well, he's a deputy. He's a deputy of Orleans Parish. He's a reserve deputy of Orleans Parish.
Right, and an associate, a sheriff, right? So he bribed all these people just so that this amendment could be on the ballot, right? We're gonna talk about it on another show. But let me tell you something, man. What we have here, my brother, is one whole syndicate of criminals. One whole syndicate of criminals calling themselves elected officials, operating under the local government status. They are all goddamn criminals, man. And look,
I dig it.
No one branch of government is excluded. All three. When you look on the judicial branch, look no further than Bernadette J. Johnson. When you look on the executive branch, look no further than John Bell Edwards.
Johnson, Irons, and the new Johnson that just took over too.
Man, they all
who just became a judge.
Man, they all criminal, my brother. Hey, look.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you sharing the time, spend the time on the show with me today, man. It's actually that time again. We're going to have to call it another day. Look, to my friends and family, everybody out there, same place, same time, Saturday. DJ, much love, my brother.
Oh yeah, we gonna be talking soon offline.
All right, my brother.
Me and you will be talking.
All right, brother. Peace, love. All right, bless. Yeah, family. Anthony Brown. Much love. Peace.
Peace.